first a warning, I am going to talk about the Easter Bunny in a grown-up way in this video. So if you have littles, okay, that's your warning. But I'd love to show you guys what I'm putting in my 9-year-old's Easter basket. I have so many thoughts about this. And the reason I'm making this video is because I love watching videos like this. I love seeing what other people are putting in Easter baskets, or what they're buying their kids for Christmas, or how they're buying groceries, or all these sort of like overlooked mom tasks. You know, they're parenting tasks, but they very often fall to mom. And I am fascinated by the complexity of the decision making and why people make the different decisions that they do. And I realize and recognize that there is a spectrum of, you know, how am I trying to say it? There's a spectrum of what people can afford, of what people have access to. And I want to reassure you that I have been on every edge of that spectrum. Right now, I'm married to a successful man, and I am much more successful than I've ever been. So I have the privilege of doing what for me feels like kind of an extravagant Easter basket for my daughter. I have been in the place not that long ago where I lived below the poverty line, where I struggled to make ends meet, where we were on a very fixed budget, and a lot of the stuff that I'm putting in here would have actually been beyond my reach, or I maybe would have been able to do one of these things. And so I am conscious of that. There are some controversial items in the Easter basket. And this is kind of a controversial topic in general, which you wouldn't think that it would be, but like it is. Because, and trust me, whatever you think you might come for me in the comments on, whatever hate you might toss my way about what I'm putting in here, trust me, I have already had that internal battle with myself in my own brain. I like don't like really, but I am in a place now where I can kind of do this, and I just want to recognize that if you can't do this, this video is not meant to shame you. And I'm sure there's some people who are going to look at it and go, that little thing, like you know what I mean? Like there's always going to be somebody doing worse than you and somebody doing better than you. And I want to recognize that I don't want to make anybody feel bad because they're not in a place where they could put all the things that I'm going to put in here. And I don't want to make anybody feel bad. And I also don't want anybody to judge me. But I like to share this stuff because I think the complexity of these tasks, of these decisions, is really fascinating. It's really overlooked, and I love talking to people about it, and I love sharing it, and I love watching YouTube videos about it. So that's why I'm doing it. Okay, I've talked a lot. I'm sure you're like, get into it. Let's just get on with it. What are you putting in the basket? One last thing. She does not believe in the Easter Bunny. Okay, I warned you at the beginning of the video that I would talk about this. She doesn't believe in it. And I know that people are gonna say I'm spoiling her, because I know a lot of people have the belief that like, if you don't believe, you don't receive. She doesn't believe in it because she found out the truth. And so this is the thing, like, yeah, it seems silly, but I think it softens the blow for her that we still do the basket. Like, it's still fun, it's still magical, it's still joyful. She loves it. I love seeing her happy little face. And she has a birthday that's really close to Christmas. And so a lot of times, even though they're not like totally overlapping, it feels like she goes like 11 months of the year without getting a gift. So I don't feel that bad about giving her a nice gift, you know, for Easter or for a holiday. I don't mind spoiling her a little bit on back to school stuff, or those times of the year where you get the opportunity to be giving and do something. So let's get into it. What are we doing? So first of all, we're gonna do the big stuff. Okay, so here's the basket. The frugal part of me uses the same basket every year. She used to have a different basket and I don't know what happened to it, but a few years ago we got this one to replace it. This is just a cheap Easter basket from Walmart. Okay. This is ribbon I tied on. And this is the same grass that we've used for years. There's probably something in there. Okay, but let's start with the big things, okay? So I went to Target and Five Below. That's where I got pretty much everything. So the first thing is this little journal from Five Below. 1 question a day, journal for kids, 365 days, all about me. And it opens up and you can write each day. There's a question that you can kind of fill out. And I can't explain why really she will love this, but it's very her. She will really like it. Okay. Hello Kitty is all the rage right now. Her and all her friends are obsessed with Sanrio characters and Hello Kitty. It's the thing. They love it. They love the preppy aesthetic. They love the kawaii stuff. They love cutesy, girly, like they're so into it. So we have a road trip coming up shortly after Easter. And I thought this was a perfect road trip. It's kind of almost like road trip themed. Like it's kind of desert themed and road trip themed. There's like some luggage on here and some cactus. And our road trip is to Texas. So I feel like this is just like so on point, so on theme, and it will be great for being in a car and going on a road trip to Texas. And I just think she's gonna love this. It's got stickers and little activities for her to do. It's gonna be a win. Okay, these things were from Five Below. They weren't that expensive. I think they'll make great additions, right? So the next things that I got her are some graphic novels. She loves graphic novels. That's the kind of books that she's into right now. This one, Raina Telgemeier, I hope I'm saying her name right, has written a lot of other graphic novels that she's already read and she already liked. And so she wanted this one. And so I got this one for her because she wanted it. And then I got her this other one. And this one was somebody, I don't think she's read any by this author. This one is called Camp by Kayla Miller, but I thought that she would probably dig it. It just looked like something she would like, something up her alley. And she's a little bit of an advanced reader. These are for like 9 to 13 years old, and she's a little bit of an advanced reader. And she's been reading above, you know, well above grade level for a while. And I'm not trying to like brag on her about that, but if you're wondering about the age appropriateness of stuff, like she's already been reading stuff like this for a while and chapter books for a while. And she, you know, she loves to read and I feel so grateful. And if you want to know how I think she fostered this love of reading, we read to her every day from birth, from like the day she was born. We read aloud to her. She had bedtime stories every night. And then when she started to be able to read independently, which was like kind of right at the end of kindergarten, she was really good at reading. She was reading like the Magic Tree House series chapter books. Like she could really start to get into a book on her own, into a graphic novel or a kid's chapter book on her own. And we started letting her read herself to sleep at night. And it's part of her routine. She's used to it. She loves it. It's what puts her to sleep at night. And I think it just makes her imagination go wild. And it's, you know, it's a really good thing. So we like to encourage it. And she particularly loves these kind of books. So these books are like $12.99 at Target. I get a little bit of a discount because I use my Target Red card. You get like 5% off when you use your Target Red card. It is not a credit card, although they have one that's a credit card, but you can just hook your debit card up to a Target Red card and it'll come right out of your bank account. And it's just like using a debit card, but you get free shipping from Target if you shop online, and you get a 5% discount on items when you use your Red card. So I like to buy a lot of things like this at Target because I just get that little extra bit off. Okay, this is very similar. You could not really tell that this book, it's a graphic novel, and it's by Lucy Nisley. Okay, you could not really tell that this is any different than these two. It's the same size, it's the same style, and this one was at Five Below, and this one was like $5. So just a heads up, if this kind of thing, like these were expensive, right? If these aren't in your price range, they do have stuff like this at Five Below if you have one near you. So that's the books. And then let's get down to business. The more expensive item. This is probably going to be the most controversial item, probably the most expensive item. I will be honest, okay? And I can't tell you how much I debated whether or not to do this. It's very trendy. It's something of a status thing among kids her age right now. And there's always a debate in my mind of whether or not to play into that, to try to encourage her to be more of an independent thinker, or, you know, but at the end of the day, I think there's a value, and you can come for me if you disagree, but I think there's a value in helping your kids fit in if you have the means to do that, if you can help them in some way. And if you can't, no guilt-free. But it's something that I felt was important to her. She asked for it. And I think what really kind of put me over the edge was she asked for one in white because she wants to put stickers on it. And I really loved the thought of her expressing her individuality with something that's kind of trendy and, you know, mainstream, and it's something that she kind of wants because other people are getting it.
Your front load washer is done.
The washing machine's done. I'm not gonna quit filming. But it is. Oh no, what did I knock over? I knocked something over. Oh, it's okay. It's a Stanley. The big reveal didn't go the way that I wanted it to. Alexa got involved. I knocked something over. That's me. Okay. It's a white Stanley, and she's gonna put stickers on it. And I know, like, it was so funny, like, I know they make fun of it on SNL, they make fun of it for being basic, and then there's also this other kind of world where, like, you make fun of for having a fake one. I mean, it's stupid, right? It's a stupid trendy thing. The trend will be over eventually. You know, whatever, like, who cares about a trendy water bottle? But she cares about it, and she wanted one. And I'm not gonna lie to you. You can call me basic if you want. Tell me I'm spoiling her if you want. It feels good to me to be able to be in a position to get her one, because I spent a lot of years of my life not in that position. So that's that. All right. Bubbles. Not the most expensive thing. We're getting down to the less expensive items. Okay. These are from Target. Kids get bubbles from like every goodie bag, every Easter basket. Like, it's such a common thing that bubbles, it's like you don't really have to buy bubbles. Bubbles are just around. We just accumulate bubbles. But she still loves bubbles. She really loves to take bubbles camping, and we like to camp quite a bit. It's a fun activity for her to do with the littler kids that we go camping with a lot. And she loves bubbles, and she actually used all the bubbles this past weekend. We went camping and she used them all up. We're out of bubbles now, so I had to replenish them, and they make a good Easter basket addition. Those were only a couple of bucks, so those are within reach for most people, and it's a nice big bottle. All right, I think everything else is from Five Below. So I got her these little Hello Kitty figurines, these little kawaii figurines, and they're super cute. I don't know how to explain this, but I think if you have a 9-year-old or somewhere close in that age, anywhere from like probably like 6 to 9, they are obsessed with the tiniest little things. If it is small and tiny, they want it, and they make up these little stories, and little things like this become like a full character in their imagination. And she didn't have any Sanrio ones. She didn't have any Hello Kitty ones or whatever. So it made sense to get her that. Okay, next up. This is her favorite character. This is Cinnamoroll. And this is like the springtime Squishmallow plushie Cinnamoroll from Five Below. So this wasn't super expensive. Yes, she has like a dozen of these already, but she loves them. This is her favorite one. She thinks this is the cutest one. She's obsessed, and it's perfect for an Easter basket, right? Okay. So next up, she's really into Harry Potter right now, especially Luna Lovegood. Luna Lovegood is like, that's who she wants to be for Halloween. And she saw this in Five Below. It's just like a little keychain tchotchke thing. And she wanted it really bad. So I got it for her from Five Below. Okay, next up, she's getting into like fashion and hairstyles and makeup and clothes a little bit more. She's in that transitional age of, she's not really a little kid anymore. She still uses her imagination. She still plays with toys, but she's also getting more into things like this and things like this. So got her some cute Sanrio, hair clips, which I know she'll love. And I know you're probably going, okay, this basket is like full. What else could you possibly put in here? And also, where's the candy? I know everybody's like, where's the candy? Okay, here's the deal. Not that she doesn't like candy or that we don't let her have candy or something, we do. But she doesn't really care about candy all that much. And she gets so, you hear like plane going overhead. I don't know if it's a helicopter or a plane. We live directly in the path of the airport. I'm not gonna stop filming. Just like Alexa and the laundry and knocking things over. I am not professional enough to stop the video. But here we go. What was I talking about? Candy, right? Okay. She gets so much candy from school, from Valentine's, from Christmas, from Mardi Gras. She got a bunch of candy. We celebrate Mardi Gras down here. She'll get it at Halloween. It just feels like a never-ending cycle of candy constantly all the time. So I already have a ton of candy in my house as it stands. That's just like leftover from Valentine's. She has 2 chocolate Valentine's hearts, like those big hearts. She hasn't even opened. And it's not because I'm not letting her. It's literally just because we're overloaded. It's, she's not really all that interested in it, to be honest with you. She doesn't ask for it very much. When she asks for it, I usually say yes. It's right out in plain sight. It's not that big of a deal to me, but we just get so much anyway. So a few years ago, I stopped buying lots of little candy for her for holidays, for like her Christmas stocking or whatever. And I just kind of stick to like 1 or 2 big impact snacks or candies that she would like. Just treats in general. It doesn't even have to be candy. Like, she loves a bag of those purple Doritos. Dude, I put like a bag of purple Doritos in everything for her. For something fun. So we throw a couple of fun things in there, but we don't do like load her up with candy and the chocolate Easter bunny and all that stuff anymore, because it mostly goes uneaten. It mostly gets thrown in the trash. It mostly gets stale and tossed out anyway. And I swear it's not like a diet thing. It just goes to waste around here. And it's kind of like the bubbles. You don't have to buy bubbles. Like, you don't have to buy candy. Candy will appear. It will arrive. It just exists. It's just around. It's just a constant. So these are her treats that she's getting. She's getting these little Hello Panda chocolate crackers. She really loves those. Okay. And her probably most favorite snack next to purple Doritos, sour cream and onion Pringles. So she's going to be a happy little camper with her Pringles and her chocolate panda snacks. So that's the Easter basket. That's everything. That's what she's gonna get. This is heavy, okay? And I hope you enjoyed watching this. I recognize that it was long and I explained a lot. But that's what's interesting to me about it, is the opportunity to explain the decision making. Like, why did I go ahead and get her the Stanley? Why did I go ahead and get her 3 graphic novels? And just to give you ideas, if all you can afford to put in an Easter basket is candy, that's the other thing, by the way. I should mention that all this stuff that I put in here is a real privilege, because sometimes candy is like the cheap thing that you can afford. You can afford to go crazy on candy because it's not that expensive. And so, like, no judgment. If that's how you're going to make it a fun surprise for your kid, I've been there. I get it. And I've done that. And I don't feel guilty about that either. I made the right decision for me at the time. That was also before I realized how much of that candy would go to waste. Like, that's also before I started to, like, catch on to the fact that we were just in this endless holiday cycle of candy that, you know, no one could ever finish. Yeah, that's what she's getting in her Easter basket. I do think it's okay to keep going with fun things like Easter baskets and Christmas stockings and all of that, even after they no longer believe in, you know, the Tooth Fairy and the Easter Bunny and Santa and all those things. I think that's completely okay. And I think whatever works for you and your family is fine, you know, when it comes to this stuff. This stuff, and this is really the message that I want to kind of like end with. This stuff is the fun stuff, right? This stuff is the things that are, like, to me, make being a mom joyful. Holidays, birthdays, celebrations. This is stuff that brings me back to, like, some of the happiest moments of my childhood. And it's something that I really find a lot of joy in as a mom. I know a lot of people see it as a chore, and you can see how much thought I put into everything that I put in here, why it would feel like a chore. If you're overwhelmed, if you're burnt out, if you have more than one kid, I have one kid privilege. I have only child privilege, right? And if you feel that way, I completely understand, by the way. No judgment if this isn't joyful for you or isn't fun for you or feels like an obligation for you. I think the way I make it fun for me is I think about how happy and grateful and thankful she's going to be. She always is a very good girl. She always shows a lot of gratitude. I think about how this kind of softens the blow of her not believing in those things anymore. I think a lot about how happy it made me as a kid, and I think a lot about kind of like, to me, this little basket is representative, like, how well I know her. You know, it's not just a bunch of junk. It's things that she wants or she likes or are particular to her. And so symbolic of, like, my connection with my daughter, which is the really, like, fulfilling, rewarding part of motherhood, is that family bond and that family relationship and what it feels like to be a mother as, like, the leader of your family, and just to get to do stuff for her like this. And I think it's easier for me too, because in general, I feel very appreciated by my family, by my husband, by my daughter, by my stepsons. I feel very grateful for them and the way they treat me, and, you know, the gratitude they show for me for showing up for them in this way, you know, and I think that makes it easier. So I think if this is a struggle for you, if this is the sort of thing that you resent or is difficult for you, maybe take some inspiration from it, and also maybe think about fostering connection And what about this could be about fostering connection? And if not, who cares? You know, this is not required. It certainly isn't required, I think, after they stop believing, right? This is not required. It's not an obligation. But I do sort of think things like this that are traditional, right? This is, I think, the caveat to, we don't do that is you've got to have a better idea, right? Okay. So I think it's okay to not do this kind of gift giving, this kind of tradition or whatever, as long as you've got a better idea. What's the better idea? So what is what's the replacement for this? Because otherwise, if you don't have a better idea, me and my husband say this all the time. We got this from a clip from a comedian, but we've like made it the mantra of our lives, is just act regular. If you don't have a better idea, just do the regular thing. You're not risking much by just acting regular, you know? But if you do have a better idea, that's fine. You can do that, you know? And I'd love to hear, what are your thoughts on doing Easter baskets? What are your thoughts on doing them after the kid no longer believes? What would you do for a transitional kid, you know, not in the tween age, not in the little kid age? How do you guys do the candy? Is the candy as overwhelming to you as it is to me? What's like the culture in your part of the country or world about Easter? I'm fascinated by that stuff. How are you making your decisions? So I would love to hear it in the comments. And I do plan on being more intentional about making videos. I do plan on being more intentional about the kind of mom content that I put out there. I removed a lot of the videos that I used to have on my channel, and I'm going to start making ones that are more thoughtful and hopefully more timely. We've got a few weeks for people to get their Easter baskets together, and that's the plan. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, wow. Thanks.